We are carrying on the series of breaking down Warhammer Plus animations, and today I'm doing one of the most requested ones, and that is Iron Within, an Iron Warrior animation. Me being a Son of Dawn, this is possibly one of the worst case scenarios I can be put into. I have to watch the Iron Warriors come and look cool. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump in, we're going to break down the story, I'm going to give my thoughts and feedback like I always do, and just an initial review of the entire animation, how it looked, how it sounded, how it felt, how good was it compared to other stuff that I have watched. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. Now this animation opens up with an awesome battle. We see Dark Eldar jet bikes that are racing across this bridge, charging down the defenses of what appears to be the Planetary Defense Force. The Planetary Defense Force opens fire on these Dark Eldar jet bikes with all the weapons that they have. The bikes then start to spin and weave and open up with their own guns. We see the Planetary Defense Force get taken down not only by the incoming fire of the Dark Eldar weapons, but the bikes themselves. They literally slice through the Imperial defenses. One of the NCOs that is commanding the PDF forces opens fire with her las pistol. One of the bikers is hit, and the bike screeches through the air and hits the ground in a huge explosion. The Imperial defenders think that they've achieved a small victory until more ground forces belonging to the Dark Eldar show up and begin opening fire. More and more of the Imperial defenders are brought down. Even with the aid of a Chimera, the defenders call a retreat back to the Planis to their secondary defense line. The next scene is back in the palace. We have the commander of the Imperial forces briefing the planetary governor. They stand around a hollow table. The commander tells the governor of the Dark Eldar attacks. They talk about how brutal the enemy is. We see flashes of the Dark Eldar unleashing themselves on the civilians of the world, gutting and killing them freely. The commander tells the governor that the Dark Eldar have no tactical objective. They are just butchering and taking prisoners. As the commander is informing the planetary governor of these Dark Eldar attacks, an astropath enters the room and tells the governor that there is an ancient protocol that they may call upon the angels of death to come and save them and save the world. The governor responds to the astropath and tells him that these are just myths and fantasies. The governor at this time is in complete panic. All he wants to do is get on a ship and flee the world, to leave the population to defend itself. The commander tells him there are no ships. They fled long ago with the incoming Dark Eldar invasion. As they talk more about this ancient protocol, the NCO who brought down the Dark Eldar bike on the bridge bursts into the meeting. She tells the commander and the governor that all forces are retreating back to the palace, along with all the civilians that they can bring. The governor, hearing this news, snaps. He fears that with the population heading back to the palace, the Dark Eldar will be drawn to him. Lost in this rage, the governor rambles on how he was promised this wouldn't happen. It's then revealed that the previous person who ruled was killed off so he could take over. This deal was made between the now governor and the Dark Eldar commander. Disgusted by this betrayal, the commander and the NCO pull their pistols upon the governor. The governor then panics and pulls his own, but before he can do anything, the NCO pulls her trigger and executes him. The commander orders the astropath to send the signal to bring salvation in the angels of death. We move on to the next scene, and it seems some time has passed. The commander and the NCO are on the battlements of the palace. Defense guns shoot at Dark Eldar jet bikes attempting to breach the Imperial defenses. The Dark Eldar could have actually overwhelmed their forces with one attack, but instead they hit them again and again, taking small pieces of ground. The commander comments that the Dark Eldar want them to be afraid as much as they want their blood. They are then joined by the astropath. The commander asks if the signal has had any response, but the answer is no. There has been no response from the Sea of Souls. The commander then gives a valiant speech to his troops. He tells the forces assembled in front of him that the angels will indeed come. Long ago, they gave the angels their sons, and they are promised to return. Our blood is their blood, the red iron of angels, the iron within. We then get this fantastic battle between the two forces. The Imperial defenders detonate mines that they have hidden, destroying some of the Dark Eldar forces and some of their barges, but they return by firing weapons upon the defenses, killing scores of Imperial defenders and knocking out defense positions. The Dark Eldar push the main bulk of their forces onto the Imperial defenses. Again, we are giving another amazing battle between the two forces, but the Dark Eldar have bigger and more devastating weapons. They begin to break through the defense line. With the last defense line about to fail, the sky begins to burn. From the fire comes the angels of death. Dreadclaws smash into the ground, and from it walk Iron Warriors. They quickly begin to unleash their carnage upon the Dark Eldar with fist, blade, and bolter. The commander cheers. The Imperial defenders' faith has been rewarded for their devotion to the Emperor of Mankind. The Iron Warriors quickly begin launching their assault on the Dark Eldar forces, shooting down jet bikes and killing any Xenos they come across. They are led by a huge Terminator Lord. The Dark Eldar forces are quickly butchered as they move upon the Imperial defenses. A guardsman then runs up to one of the Iron Warriors and throws an Imperial salute in the ranking of the Aquila. The Iron Warrior looks down upon him for a few seconds, then he lifts his gauntlet up and then smashes it down on his head. The NCO looks upon the Iron Warriors and mutters, "These are no angels." The commander only sees that the Xenos are retreating under the firepower of the Iron Warriors. The NCO tries to convince the commander that these are not the saviors that they wish for. The Iron Warriors begin to turn then on the Imperial defenders, killing them as they killed the Dark Eldar. The commander panics and calls for the full retreat of all the Imperial forces inside of the palace itself. The ground is completely scattered then by multiple Dark Dead Eldar and Imperial forces as the Iron Warriors begin their march inside the palace itself. The Imperial commander and what's left of his forces retreat back to the throne room, but as they arrive, they are surrounded by a Dark Eldar force and their commander, the Archon, who sits on the throne. The Archon tells the Imperial commander that no one is going to answer his calls for aid. The Imperial commander tells him that the screams outside are not from his forces, but those belonging to the Archons. The Archon panics a bit and then sends some of his forces to scout to see what's happening. He is quickly informed of the forces that have arrived. He then berates the Imperial commander on his actions, telling him that he has forgot the monsters of their own past. He tells them that the Iron Warriors turned their backs on the Emperor long ago. The Imperial commander looks upon the Xenos and tells him, "Well, we'll die together then." The Archon is ready to kill the Imperial commander, but as he lifts his blade, the walls of the throne room burst in an explosion, and the Iron Warriors breach in. The forces of the Iron Warriors and the Archon's forces clash in the throne room. Bolters and melee battles cry out. The Archon is protected what appears to be by a shield, so all range fire literally bounces off him. The Terminator Lord then enters the room and begins a clash with the Archon in melee. They have this immense duel which ends with the Terminator Lord punching the Archon across the room. Laying stunned on his belly, the Terminator Lord then walks over to the Archon and crushes his head under his huge ceramite boot. The Terminator Lord then turns his head towards the Imperial Commander and the NCO, who at this time are simply stunned at the presence of the Iron Warriors. The Terminator Lord then tells both of them that when he was taken from this world, its people still had iron in their blood. His massive power fist then grips the Imperial Commander's head, as he tells him the words of the Corpse Emperor has eroded their strength. This world now belongs to him. He tells both of the Imperial officers in front of him to kneel. The Imperial Commander and the NCO look upon each other. The Commander says the people must be protected, and he kneels before the Terminator Lord. The NCO, on the other hand, stares upon the Terminator Lord, and she says she will not kneel. It is better to die than submit. The Terminator Lord looks down on them both and says that they will receive the judgment of iron. He raises his huge fist and swings. The final scene we get is the Imperial forces digging and raising huge fortifications upon the world, while the Iron Warriors stand over and guard them. Heads are stuck on spikes, including the Imperial Commander. We then zoom in on the female NCO, who is now monitoring the forces doing their work. She turns and looks upon the red soap world, giving herself to the iron within. Now, as much as I love the Sons of Dawn, I have to say that this animation was fantastic. It's probably one of the better animations on there. This is kind of one of the only CGI ones that we kind of have. Everything else is kind of like pen and paper drawn with the bolter and chainsaw animation, if you get the kind of style I'm on about. I personally think the sound in this and the music is next level. Like, I think the music is probably the best thing about this, but the sound design, the way the action sequences take place, I thought was fantastic. It's a little bit stiff in certain places, but all in all, I thought it was really, really, really well done. Like, if you compare it to Astartes, which I always say we really shouldn't compare anything to Astartes because that is completely next level, that I think this is like the next one down to the best CGI that we've seen in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Hopefully, we can build on that and get more better, more awesome ones coming out from, you know, other fans and Warhammer Plus itself. We still have that Necron CGI animation, which is just yet to be announced or even spoken about by GW. They teased it at the start of the year, but that's about that. But all in all, I thought this was really good. It was very entertaining. One more gripe I have with it is how fast it all happened. I would have loved this to be like a series, like, you know, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Everything felt very, very fast, like they had to get through the story, so you didn't really get to know the characters, connect with the characters. Like, when the Imperial Commander died, I was like, okay, he died. Like, when people were dying, I was like, all right, they're dying. I don't really know these people. I haven't got a connection with them. But I think this is all down to time and money when it comes to making something like this from the studio that was making it. But yeah, that's my thoughts and feedback. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you love about it? What did you hate about it? Post it down below, and we can have a nice little talk down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, and bye-bye.